Thank you. President Trump talking to ABC News tonight and what he's now saying about this Israeli attack. Let's bring in ABC's chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl live there at the White House. John, of course, you talked with the president. We heard President Trump this week publicly warn Israel not to do this. In your phone call, he called the attack excellent. That was his word, saying Iran had its chance. Any indication, how much did the U.S. know here? When did the U.S. know? Israel now saying it told the U.S.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said point blank that he told the Trump administration that the attack was coming. And late this afternoon, President Trump told Reuters, this is an exact quote, "We knew just about everything." David, we don't know when the United States was informed, but I can tell you this. U.S. officials I spoke to in the 24 to 36 hours before the attack had a clear sense of what was coming. They may not have known the exact details, but they knew that an Israeli attack on Iran was imminent.
John Karl live at the White House after talking with the president. John, thank you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so this is some bad news for the Trump administration. I'm not going to lie about this. I don't like this one bit. Not at all, right? I don't like starting wars. I don't like U.S. intervention in wars. I don't like none of that stuff. I don't think we need to be involved in this. I understand why the Trump administration was negotiating with Iran about this whole nuclear enrichment nonsense. I don't think we are the moral authority to tell Iran what to do, although I do believe that, yes, it is not good for any nation, especially Iran, to procure a nuclear weapon or to be able to create one, manufacture one themselves. I don't think that's a good idea. However, once again, I don't think we have the moral superiority here to tell anybody what to do, for goodness sakes. That's just my position on this. That's why I don't think U.S. needs to be involved in this. Look, I understand that when the Trump administration came out and said, oh, we had no idea, BS, I called it BS right off the top. I knew that, yeah, come on, really? Israel's a vassal state of the United States, just about. I mean, for the most part, right? I mean, we can all agree to that. Because, I mean, you got AIPAC that works on behalf of Israel, for goodness sakes, that buys politicians in Washington, D.C. So, and it's not just Republicans, by the way. They bought and paid for Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader, for goodness sakes. I forget how much millions of dollars they dumped into his campaign so he could win because he's pro-Israel. They don't care about conservatism. They don't care about, liberalism. None of that. They just want to buy politicians. So AIPAC is a net negative on the United States, in my opinion. But they work on behalf of Israel, for crying out loud. So we have deep ties to Israel. Now, to think that we didn't know, we had no idea they were planning on doing this, come on, that's nonsense. I don't think we need to be involved in this, though. If Israel wants to go down this path, let them walk that path themselves. Once again, I have no problems with the United States selling weapons to anybody. If that's what we want to do, that's one of our main manufacturing exports, for goodness sakes, is weapons. It is what it is, right? I wish that the world could be peaceful. That would be nice if we could just eliminate wars, but that's not going to happen. I'm sorry. There's way too many conflicts out there, way too many differences of opinions, way too many differences in ideologies for that to happen. But us getting involved in this, Donald Trump touted himself, not only just his base, but he touted himself. No new wars, folks. And then he goes and does something like this. Now, it's not a war yet. But, once again, we'll have to see where this goes. If this turns into a war, then that whole persona of Donald Trump just gets destroyed, just outright. You can't say you're the peacetime president anymore, for goodness sakes. And he's going to lose a lot of people in his base. Of course, I'm sure he's not that worried about it because he doesn't have to get elected again, for crying out loud. But this isn't a good look for folks. It really isn't. Check this out, y'all. Trump tells ABC News he's mulling an attack on Iran. Says we could get involved. Oh, I don't like this at all, folks. President Donald Trump on Sunday left the door open for direct U.S. military involvement in the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran, telling ABC News that American forces are not currently engaged, but could get involved. In an interview with the network's Rachel Scott, Trump said he had spoken with Israeli officials and Russian President Vladimir Putin in recent days as fighting in the region intensified. Israel has spent the past week launching airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites and missile facilities, with Iran responding with ballistic missile barrages, which, by the way, they haven't really done much damage to Israel at all. But I tried to go find this interview, and for some reason, I couldn't find the interview. I wanted to run a clip of that at the beginning of this video, but I couldn't seem to find the interview, so I don't know if it was like a phone interview or if it was just, a off-camera interview type of thing that went on. I have no idea, but I couldn't find that video of this, so it is what it is, folks. We'll just read the news. That's what we do around here anyway. We're not involved in it. It's possible we could get involved, Trump said Sunday, but we are not at this moment involved. The president also downplayed concerns that negotiations with Iran over its nuclear program had collapsed. Yeah, but whose fault is that, for goodness sakes? Donald Trump gave them 60 days. He even left a post, said, "We gave them 60 days and today is day 61 when Israel first struck the Iran nuclear facilities and basically took out a lot of their military and nuclear scientists, for crying out loud. Took a bunch of people out. Crazy, y'all. It's just, man, what can we do at this point, y'all, to get the world back to some sort of semblance of peace? Like, I know the world's never really been at peace, but, how do we get there? That's what I want to know. Like, what can we do? I wish people would just leave each other alone. I think that would help a lot of things. Have these governments commit to getting rid of extremist ideologies in their countries, not by force, but through overwhelming standard ideology, right? Just overwhelming counter ideology, like counterterrorism and counter communism. Just stuff like that, just to push back against this crap. There's no deadline, Trump said, but they are talking. They'd like to make a deal. They continue to talk. Trump's comments about direct U.S. military strikes on Iran came a day after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reportedly asked him to consider a strike on Iran's Fordo nuclear facility. Sources cited by the Times of Israel said Saturday that Trump told Netanyahu the option was on the table if he felt circumstances warranted it. The facility has reportedly been struck by Israeli forces in recent days with limited damage. On Sunday morning, CNN's Scott Jennings pleaded with Trump on his X page to join the IDF in eliminating the Iranian nuclear threat. The Iranian terror regime has never been weaker. Thank you, Israel. The chance to end them as a destabilizing force cannot be missed, Jennings said. In my opinion, Trump would be justified in taking out the Fordo nuclear enrichment facility. It would be a righteous decision, and if he doesn't, no question in my mind that he would deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. This is a once-in-a-generation chance to make the world safer and defend Western civilization. Jennings concluded, bomb Fordo, destroy the Iranian octopus, restore deterrence, win the Nobel. I don't agree with that at all. Look, I'm right there with him that Iran is a destabilizing force, but, they're not destabilizing the United States. They're not directly fighting with any United States army right now, so I don't know why we should get involved with this, for goodness sakes. I mean, the United States has dug its tentacles into the Middle East where it doesn't belong, right? If we didn't have bases in the Middle East, would we be getting struck by Iran, for goodness sakes? That's the question I pose to you guys down in the comment section. I don't like this neocon position that we need to be the police of the world, for goodness sakes. I don't think that's our position. I don't think any nation has the righteous indignation to go out there and pretend to be the police, the world police, for goodness sakes. I don't think that's anything. Like, how can you claim to have the moral superiority when you're definitely a nation of sin? We all are. And I just can't stand this idea of military intervention when we absolutely should not be intervening in any of these situations, right? Look, I understand helping out allies and all that other nonsense, selling weapons. That's what we do, for goodness sakes. I get that. I totally get that. But why do we need to be involved? When has Iran struck the United States? I'm not talking about military bases that we've planted in the Middle East. That's our fault, for goodness sakes. Like, I just don't get this idea. All right, look, I understand there's evil out there in this world, but wait till it comes to your doorstep, for goodness sakes, before you try to go and take them out. Hey, if they were to attack the United States, I'd be right there. Look, obliterate them, for goodness sakes. Nuke them bastards, for all I care. You know what I'm saying? But until they do, I don't think we need to be involved with it. I think de-escalation should be the first principle on this, is to try to calm tensions, not inflare them, for crying out loud. I just don't ever get this position. I don't like it at all, and I think Trump's going down the wrong path here, and I'm going to criticize Trump where I think he needs to be criticized on this. I think this is a bad move. I think, once again, the warmongers have gotten into his ear. The neocons have been whispering in Trump's ear, and they make him think it's a good idea to go ahead and go with this, right? He says we're not involved yet, but it sounds like we're going to get involved. Hopefully we don't. We'll have to see what happens. I don't have that criticism yet because we're not technically involved, but come on. To think that with all this rhetoric that we've been hearing that we're not going to get involved, and to think that Israel isn't going to escalate even further, you're just delusional, my friends. You're just delusional. So I think they have every intention of escalating this thing, and I think Trump has every intention of getting involved in this. And once again, I think that's a very, very bad move, and I'm going to be highly disappointed if he does. But I think that's all I got on this one. I just wanted to put this quick update out there. So y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here and you want to stay up to date with more videos like this. Please subscribe. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. And if you would be so inclined, I would appreciate if you would look right below the video and click that join button. Sign up and become a member, because I can't do this without you guys. I need y'all's help. So y'all do that for me. Y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got on this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.